Okay, guys, so let's talk about some sleeper wide receivers I have. And leading the way, it's going to be a guy that's not such a sleeper anymore. He's still not being drafted as highly as I think he should. And that's going to be Tyler Boyd. uh, yes, we still have to see how that offense with a new head coach that's wasn't even an offensive coordinator before is going to work out. But I believe that Boyd broke out last year, and I don't think that was an accident. I think that's going to continue. And even when he was playing number two to AJ Green, he actually was averaging around 15 more yards with AJ Green in the lineup. But I think that Tyler Boyd is the future there at the number one. AJ Green will either not really last much longer, or they may just not resign him. So Tyler Boyd is definitely going to be the number one there. And again, just in year three, which is a lot of where good receivers actually break out in year three, he actually produced really good. So I expect Tyler Boyd to continue and be the number one for the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know what the number one for the Bengals is going to produce fantasy wise, because I just haven't seen how that new offense is going to work. But I am going to be targeting Tyler Boyd in all of my dynasties and redraft leagues, if the price is right, of course. I'm not planning on overpaying for him. I also don't want to underpay for him. I think in a dynasty startup or in a redraft league, you should be taking him. I've seen him go as high as around the 4th round, and as low as the 7th. In the 7th round, that's not happening in any of my leagues. In any of my leagues, like I am, if he's there in the 6th, I'm pressing that button as fast as I can. But yeah, Tyler Boyd, I believe you should be drafted in all your leagues if the price is still right and around those rounds. I think he's going to be an excellent wide receiver too. The only reason I can't say for certain is because I haven't seen that offense, how it's going to work. But I think he could be an excellent wide receiver too. My next guy is going to be D.D. Westbrook. And it's the same thing, because they have a new offensive coordinator, but they're still just going to want to run the ball. But I think D.D. Westbrook is going to be in for a year 3 breakout. With DD, you can get DD super late in drafts, so it's not really going to affect you. If you have the bench space, I've been trying to get DD and Keelan Cole, because Keelan Cole is another guy that's in my sleeper list that I like as a receiver. I think between DD and Keelan, one of those two will break out in the Jacksonville Jaguars offense this year. I haven't heard people talk about this much, but the offensive coordinator that the Jacksonville Jaguars got actually likes to pass the ball a lot, even though that team is still going to probably try to run the ball a lot. But he was the offensive coordinator that was there with the Minnesota Vikings when Adam Thielen was getting all that volume. So if he brings that same system in place to the Jaguars, even though I don't believe they're going to pass it as much, just because, again, that's a run-first team. But I do think that between Dede and Keelan Cole, you can have a good a low end 2, maybe a high end 3, with potential to be a 1. But I still wouldn't suggest you draft those guys high. If you have to just pick one because of bench space, it would be Dede Westbrook. But if you have bigger bench spaces, or you have the extra spot, I would be targeting it late in my drafts, both Dede and Keelan. Another guy that I think you should target late in your drafts, both dynasty and redrafts, is G. Allison, the wide receiver for the Packers. If he would have continued last year on the pace he was going for, he would have been a great wide receiver too. Unfortunately, he did get hurt, but you should definitely target him in redraft leagues late. In dynasty leagues, if it's a startup, you can still get him pretty late, or you try to trade for him. And then this other last guy, or I'm sorry, I have two more guys. We'll start this one is Justin Watson. Justin Watson, maybe a lot of you won't know his name. He's a receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And while Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are getting all the hype, Mike Evans, completely understandable. Chris Godwin, I like his talent, but he still hasn't done anything, and people have bought him and sold him for so high. It's incredible. If you drafted Chris Godwin, you could sell him like he already produced, and he still could. You never know. But the guy I am drafting from that offense is Justin Watson. I believe he has an extreme opportunity. If Chris Godwin is not the guy that everybody's hyping up to be, it's going to be Justin Watson, and you can get Justin Watson basically for free in Dynasty and in redrafts. In redrafts, I would not be as high on him. You can take him with like your last pick, or even probably just in the waiver wire, pick him up. I think he could still produce this year. I'm not completely sure. It just depends on how the offense is going to set up. But Justin Watson's profile is amazing, and he has amazing talent. So I would target Justin Watson in all your leagues as well. My last guy is going to be more for just redraft leagues and dynasty leagues. If you need a receiver for this year, you can target him, but he's not a future guy. And that guy's going to be Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn was actually in pace to be a wide receiver 3 last year. So if you need a wide receiver 3 and he's just sitting there, in some dynasty, I've picked him up in some of my waiver wires and some of my I picked him up the other day in a 16-man dynasty league. So he could still be out there for you. Again, if you're struggling at receiver, go check your waiver wire for Ted Ginn. Yes, I know he's older, and I know that there's other people there, but again, I'm just saying for this year. And if you're struggling pretty badly at the wide receiver position, just pick him up if you can, and if he doesn't do anything, just drop him. He's not really going to cost you anything.